Here we have a new 2023 Ford Edge SEL. This one comes with all-wheel drive and agate black metallic. And then we have the navy activex interior, and then that also has orange stitching. The powertrain consists of a 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and that's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. But as we come around to the front end here, we get LED headlamps along with LED daytime running lights and LED fog lights. And I love the look for this Edge, even though it's been a minute since it's been updated or refreshed. Still looks great in my opinion. But the Edge has always been one of the better looking two-row SUVs in my opinion. Down here we have 18-inch aluminum wheels. And then parts content info. But we get passive keyless entry on the front 2 doors. Power door lock controls are here. And then we get one-touch automatic up and down for the driver's side, express down for the front passenger, and then just regular power windows for the back. Rear window locks here. Power mirror controls are here. We can turn those on and off and adjust with this dial. And then a bottle holder here. Plenty of storage space in the door panel. And then up here, headlamp controls. And then that's auto, on, corners, off. Fog lights, brightness for the gauge cluster, power lift gate, and then traction control toggles here. We can manually tilt and telescope the steering wheel by pulling that and adjusting. And there's our power driver's seat with power lumbar support, and that's going to be 2-way power lumbar. But I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3", with longer legs. So let's go ahead and check out this rear leg room. So pretty good space back here. My mom has had 2 of these, so I kind of know how they feel in the back. And she was able to have 3 big kids sit back here, no problem. Even though our legs were touching, but whatever. That's how it is. Rear AC vents are here, little storage there, 2 USB-C charge ports, which is nice. And then I love that we get a 110 3-prong household plug-in in there. You just can't see it because that's as far as the cover goes up. But middle seat folds down, cup holders are here. Love that we get these premium LED dome lights. And then grab handle here, we could probably hang 1 plastic hook, 2 thin metal hooks on there. Let's go towards the back. Fuel fillers here. And then coming around to the back end here, we do get LED tail lights, which is great. And while that's popping up, we'll take a quick look underneath the vehicle there. And there's the dual exhaust. And then this has all-weather floor mats and all that here, so I think this is the boxes for that. But just to show you, look at all this space. And this is one of the best things about these, is there's an abundance of space behind that second row. And there's your spare tire. And I love that we have the huge side pocket here. There's an additional one right there. And then there's a thin one right in here. And then you can pull these down and you can hang a bag or so on each of these. And then you can also get a cover if you want to, and then you can hook that in right there, a cargo cover. But love that we have the release there to fold down the seats, and that's the difference in space. So you can have even more of that if you need to, than 12 volt right there. So still a pretty practical SUV, even after all these years with very little change to it. But pretty easy to fold this back up. And you can even adjust the back by pulling on that. So you can lean it up further or lean it back, whatever you want to do. But I love this interior. It's just, it looks so good. But huge shout out to Ford of Franklin for allowing me to review this Edge today. I'll leave a link below to the vehicle in the description. And hopefully you all can see this. The lighting's gotten a little worse throughout the day. But pause anywhere you need to. if you want to take a look, or you can just see the full window sticker by hitting that link below and going directly through Ford of Franklin's website, excuse me. MSRP is $43,605. And again, this one does have the all-weather floor liners and the cargo area liner, so with all of that, sticker's $44,022. But to the front passenger side, you have a manual seat back, but a power seat bottom. 12-volt here. Love the slide-through storage right there. And then lockable glove compartment. Decent size. Let's go ahead and pop the hood. And there's that 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Let's go ahead and get out of this heat, hop in the driver's seat. Love the leather wrap steering wheel, nice feel. Good grip as well. But going to the radio here, we do get AM, FM, and XM along with Bluetooth audio. And we also have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto compatibility. And then a few games on here if you want to do that while you're parked. But to add your phone, pretty easy, just go there.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
Walks you right through it. And if your AC controls, all that, you just hit this and you can adjust where the fan direction's coming from, turn the dual zone on and off, vents, or turn the whole system off there. So I don't want to do that too long, I'll faint. But anyways, fan speed can be adjusted here. So this isn't like the newer Mach-E's. You still have the scroll thing here, and it doesn't really bother me that much because it takes up less room. You don't have to use the volume knob to adjust it like in the EVs, but 3-stage heated seats for the driver, front passenger. Defrosters are down here, and then you can adjust temperature there or just slide through. And volumes here, you can turn that up, mute, and then you can turn it back down. Hazards, I like that you have a defroster button as well, and then hit this camera button here that pulls up your backup camera. Then you have a tune knob as well for the radio. But down here, USB-A and USB-C port, wireless charging pad. And then for the shifter, just hit the brake, reverse, neutral, drive. And then your sport mode is there. And then electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. And then you do have an auto stop toggle there if you want to use that. I like that we have the 2 cup holders here, and then you can actually put your phone here and run a short cord from there. So I like that. And then center console cubby space. You have a removable tray here. Plenty of space down below. Now this isn't my favorite because it's kind of hard to get in there right, but you don't need to have it in there anyway. Sunglasses holders here. Dome lights are here. And then garage door transmitters there. Vanity mirror right there. Now back to the steering wheel. Lane keeping system, we can toggle that on and off on the button here. Blinkers. And with the headlamps on, you can toggle your high beams on and off and then flash there. And then you have windshield wiper controls here. It's one time, intermittent low, high, and then you can adjust your intermittent right in here. And then your rear wiper off, and then you have intermittent on, and then pull back for the rear wiper fluid, push up for the front wiper fluid. Now, one of my favorite things about these older Fords is that you had the 2 instrument clusters on either side. So you have the digital screen here and the digital screen there. So you can scroll through here, go through your entertainment and your phone. But then on this one, you can go through all of your important stuff. So temperature, you can change that here. Units, you can change that there. Make sure y'all can see that. And then tire pressure, you can pull that up. But my favorite thing about this is you can just pull up so much stuff. each sub-menu has so much that you can look at. And that's where you can adjust your blind spots, whether you don't want those on or off, whatever. And then vehicle settings are right in here. And then what I like about this is you can also go into the screen, pull up your settings here, and then you can adjust everything in this general settings thing that you just adjusted there. And when you do adjust it here or here, it switches up there as well. So if I adjust miles over here, it'll adjust the miles here and here, and everything else as well. But just gonna take a quick walk through all of this. But not too much going on in the settings here. But cruise control toggle on, off, set your speed, resume, cancel. And then over here you have a mute button, voice recognition, and then you have your trackless or radio station presets you could toggle. Or if your phone's up, those are Bluetooth phone buttons. And then volume control right in there. Got a little storage up here. I don't know what happened up here on the dash here, but it kind of got filthy. But you do have storage up here. Your push button starts there. And finally, here's your key fob with remote start, and you also have the button for your power liftgate too. But now to the fun part. Let's go ahead and take this 2023 Ford Edge SEL all-wheel drive out on the road for a test drive. Starting the test drive in this Edge SEL, I'm very impressed by how over the years Ford has kind of kept the Edge relevant, in the sense that this has a 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it's still pretty peppy, even though this is not necessarily an underweight vehicle, let me put it that way. So this thing still pushes this like I'm used to from that naturally aspirated V6 that used to come standard. But of course you're getting a lot better fuel economy, where you're getting like 1820 or 1823, something like that with the V6. And on this one you're getting, I think, 2126 with this 4-cylinder. So a pretty impressive setup. So acceleration is pretty good. And then when I put it into the sport mode, the tachometer comes up, and then we can see where we are in terms of the RPMs we're getting. So it's pretty cool, especially for this kind of vehicle. But in sport mode, pretty responsive. And I mean, in regular drive mode it's responsive as well, but I'm just impressed that it'll push this beast of a 2-row SUV pretty well, just having the 2-liter 4-cylinder. And what's really impressive is the Edge STs. I've driven one of those, and I think that has a 2.7 liter in it. That's a beast of an engine right there on this thing. Now this segment has had so much competition. This was one of the first SUVs out that really kind of brought back the 2-row SUV. And then you had the Chevy Blazer come back. You had the Edge, of course. And then a lot of new competitors from other automakers. I think the only one that actually stayed relevant throughout all that time was Lexus. Always had that RX. But there was really nothing that stuck around. But the Edge, when they brought that, it was a good option, and it was extremely practical for what it was. It was for people who had a family that didn't want a minivan, didn't necessarily want a Tahoe, but they wanted something that had room inside. It was usable, had tons of cargo space, but you also didn't look like a soccer mom behind the wheel. And that made way for so many other vehicles. Now we're gonna give this some throttle getting on the interstate here, but I do want to go back to the segment that this is in, and I think it's hard to really put it in a competitive match without pretty much every automaker has something like this now. I mean, BMW pretty much has the X5, I think. We talked about Lexus. Chevy has the Blazer. But this is one of those that when it came out, it was different. It was so different, and the looks were great, especially in like 2007, all that. And it made a statement, and it was new. And even to this day, it still holds a market share. It's still a vehicle that people want to buy. There's one right there. It really is a great vehicle. We're gonna turn the cruise on. Now, I will say, compared to the rest of Ford's lineup, especially since the Escape just got refreshed, a lot of the features on that are much more luxurious. I think much more competitive than the Edge at this point. It's just showing its age a little bit. But I do think a slight refresh would just keep this in the running to be one of the better two-row SUVs that are on the larger side. Let me put it that way. What makes it great is this doesn't drive like a huge vehicle, but the interior room, just its stance, everything about it just makes it feel like an Audi Q8 competitor or one of those big luxury SUV competitors that don't have third rows necessarily. They're just big and roomy. But for the price point, honestly, not a bad buy in my opinion, especially compared to what they were going for not too long ago. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Ford Edge SEL with all-wheel drive.